So what we have in this today's topic, so I will cover what is an Angular, then what are the key features of Angular, then we'll learn what is CLI, command line interface, then Angular architecture, how it is built, then we'll see data binding, how data binding works in the Angular, then we'll see some of the events, because these events is in practical use, no one will tell you how to use those events, so that's why I have taken this part. And last one is debugging, how you can do the debugging in Angular. Okay, so let's move to the next topic, introduction to Angular. Okay, so first of all I tell you, so this is a advanced version of JavaScript. So TypeScript is used in this Angular, and it is a simple architecture like Java. Okay, they have done it in Java. So let's start. Okay, so this is the open source web application framework. Okay, so anyone can use it. Second one is, it is giving a single page web applications, means you only have one HTML file, and inside that you will have components. So if you see your Angular application, there you can see only one index file, index.html file. Okay, and inside that you will see the components only. So dynamic component you can see, but you can see only one single page. But in JavaScript, what happened, if you have, let's say, 5 pages, then you need to create all body HTML 5 pages you need to create, and you need to move one by one pages. But Angular gives you a good thing is like single page application, and it is developed in TypeScript. So not it will use TypeScript only. So TypeScript is a advanced version of JavaScript. Okay, so when you run the application, it will convert that TypeScript to JavaScript, and then it will run. Okay, so it is using JavaScript only, but TypeScript is a advanced version of JavaScript. Okay, so let's move to the key features of Angular. What are the key features? So yeah, first is dependency injection. Like you can import any of the modules in the whatever available in app in the internet, and you can use it by using this Angular only. So you don't need to create same module again and again. You can directly import that module from the internet. And how you can import, you can directly do the npm command. So by using that command you can directly import, and by doing this so in the your JavaScript application, what you need to do, always you need to download the your CSS or any link, and then you need to paste it in your HTML file like src, and that those things you no need to do in the Angular. You can directly import by using command, or you can directly import that module and you can use that. So how you can do that, we can see in upcoming days. But yeah, you have this dependency injection, and also whatever component you have created, let's say you have created a component, b component, c component. So what you can do in Angular, you can connect a component with b component, or you can again connect b component to c component, like that. So dependency injection is also possible. Like whatever parent child combination you need, you can use that, and you can reuse those components in the Angular. Second thing is, you have official documentation and support. So Google is maintaining the this Angular, and Google is providing the support as well. So you have a good documentation and support as well. So if you are facing any problem, you can raise question in the on the Google, and they will resolve it if it is a valid bug or valid error. Then you will have a two-way data binding, so you can have a single way, like you can communicate between HTML and TS, and also TS from TS to HTML. So like this way you have this data binding as well. Next one is powerful CLI. You will get a CLI. So CLI is command line interface. Okay, so whenever you are using, right, for creating new component you are using NGGC, so that is a CLI. Okay, so no need to create it manually, the CLI will create for you. So automatically it will done all these things, and it will structure that component. So this CLI will do for you. Then performance optimization is also there. So let's say you have 100 components, so all 100 components will not load at a time. So whatever is required, those things only loaded. But in JavaScript, what will happen if you have 100 pages, so all 100 pages will load at first time, so then it is like somewhat lagging. So for complex application only, we can use this Angular. So JavaScript also we are using, but if it is a simple application, then JavaScript maintenance and all these things will happen with the JavaScript one. But if it is a more complex, and there you will, your application is lagging or somewhat issues you are getting, then you can start using Angular. It's a modular structure. So if we have, let's say, 100 components or 100, so we can divide it into multiple modules whatever we required, so like that, and we can optimize the performance. And this Angular is very lightweight, so less space is required to load the application. So Bootstrap and all these things internally it is doing, and whatever module you require, those only it is loading, not whole modules. So those are. So now we'll see what is command line interface. So let's say if we need, right, new project, so what we are doing, ng new, and then we are giving the project name, and it will do all these things, right? It will set up the project and all the structure also, so that all the things will done by using this command line interface. Okay, so whatever command you are giving, that is the command line interface, CLI. And it is also known as Angular CLI. Okay, so it is a very powerful tool for Angular application. So you no need to create like manually all these things. So just you need to give command, and it will do structure all the needful in the application. And it is also simplifying your development process, and it will, so it will create your things, like by doing those commands it will create your project, or whatever code you are generating, like components, modules, or services. So it will do. And also you can do, right, you are doing ngserve. So when ngserve happen, it is also one command you are giving to start the application. So this is also. And a deployment also you can do by using ng build. So it will create your jar file, and you can deploy it in your container. So this is what Angular CLI. Okay, now we'll go with the Angular architecture. So my screen is visible, right? And this presentation is also visible, right? Anyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we'll go with the Angular architecture, how it is So first thing is, for this Angular architecture, it is component based architecture. So what is component will learn, but it, so whatever component you are creating for these pages or for your any functionality, you can create components. So it is component based architecture. Okay, so for all the functionality you need to create a component. But in JavaScript, what you need to do, you need to manually create your HTML files, pages, all these things, and you need to do that like from where you need to go, all these things you need to do by yourself manually. So that all things Angular have advanced it, and they have created like this way. Okay, and if you need to communicate between components, then what we can use, so services are used to interact between the components. Let's say you have two components, component A and component B, and now you need to communicate, means any data you need to give to component C or D. Then you can use these services, and you can inject these services in any of the component. And also you can create the modules. So like let's say you have multiple components, so you can divide it into modules, and then you can use your tasks. So this is the architecture of Angular. Okay, now we'll check how components works. Okay, so component is nothing but what you are doing in your JavaScript project, right? There you are creating HTML file, CSS file. So these things here also, whenever you are creating components, so by using ngGC, like ng generate component and then component name. So once you give this command, so what will Angular do? Angular automatically create your HTML file. Okay, so Angular will create your HTML file. So whatever you have, so same thing you need to create. But you remember one thing, you will only have one HTML file, means one your index.html, and whatever other HTML, those are sub parts of that. Okay, so every component will have HTML, but your body and head will be in your index.html only. So this will be all sub part of that index file. Okay, so once you create the component, you will have HTML, then you will have TS file. So whatever view you need to show, so that view you can use HTML file. Then let's say you have something login page, so there you will have username, password, and button, right? So that thing you can do in the HTML file. But after clicking on login, what you need to do, that you need to create a function in TS file. So TS will be a like a controller. Okay, HTML is your view part and TS will be your controller. So whatever you need, you, or whatever, if you want something to be hide at first time, and then after you have done something, you can show that. So those all things will be done in the TS file. Then CSS. So four file will be created whenever you are creating a component. And component you can use like a page, if you want a one page, or if you want one functionality, that thing you can also do by using component. Okay, so component you can show one page by having multiple components, like 10 components, 20 components, any, like any amount of components you can create for one single specific task. You can create a component here. Okay, then CSS will, right, how we have done this CSS part. So all the HTML decoration CSS will do, and it will have you, whenever you are creating component, you will get one css as well, there css file as well, and then the spec file also will have. So whenever you are seeing spec file, so spec file is like you need to create unit test there. Okay, you need to write unit test for your component. Okay, so whenever so developer task is not creating the application only, so developer needs to do unit testing as well and code quality as well. So we'll learn these things in the going forward, but first, so how to do this, how to write test cases, those also will learn. So after creating nggc, you will have these four files. So html, whatever you will show in the view, so view is html, then ts will be your controller, css will be your decorator, and spec will be your testing. Okay, so remember this thing, this four, always if you create any component, these four will be there, and you don't need to do any manual things, so all four will be automatically linked. Okay, you no need to give that like a, just use this spec file or use this css file for this html file. No, it will directly done in this ts file. So ts file, if you see correctly, you will have one selector, then html url, and then style url you have. Okay, so there it will automatically link this thing. Okay, now we'll say data binding. So if you have one component, let's say a component you have created, so you will have, let's say you have created one login component. Okay, so login html will be there, login ts will be there, then login css will be there, and login spec will be there. So let's say now you have created one your html page. Now you need to get data, or you need to click on that button, so you will get, you will click that function. So okay, your task needs to done. So how to pass that data and how to do that, so for that we'll learn data binding. Okay, between one component only. Okay, like from html to ts or ts to html, how we can transfer the data. So this is what data binding is. Okay, and for multiple components, so communication between component we can do with the help of services, or with the help of input output decorators, or with the help of ngrx and other things we can will learn in the upcoming videos. Okay, but currently we are checking the communication between component only, one component. Okay, how we can transfer the data from html to ts and ts to html. So we have one-way data binding. Okay, one-way data binding means it will go from html to ts or ts to html. So how we can transfer the data in only one way. So first will be interpolation. So let's say you need to show something in the html file, then what you need to do, you can use this interpolation. Okay, so let's say you have created one variable like title, and you need to show it on the html file. So how you can do, so you have created a title variable, and you can directly use that title variable in the html file by using double curly braces. So if you have used double curly braces, then it will show on the html like that title, whatever you have given value in that title in the ts file, it will show on your html once you start your application. So this is called as interpolation. Okay, only ts to html data transfer will be there. Okay, then by using property binding. Okay, so let's say you have image. Okay, there you will have src, right? Src one property there. Okay, so by using property, what we can do, let's say your url is coming dynamically in from the api, so you cannot say like this is my URL, right? So that's for that purpose you will have one variable in your TypeScript. Okay, now you need to bind that data to your HTML file. So how you can bind? So that URL you can create one variable, let's say URL link. Okay, and there you will have that dynamic link there. And then what you can do by using property, so in the by using square bracket, remember by using square bracket. So if you have src, so if you have included square bracket, inside the square bracket you write src, then whatever you will write on the next src equal to, so that will be compiler will automatically say like, if you have included curly braces, then it will take the variable, not the that whatever you have written. So let's say you have written URL link, so URL link, it will know like it is a variable of TypeScript, so it will find it in the TypeScript. Got it? So this is what property binding. So whatever properties you have, those property you can link with the TypeScript data. Okay, so you can create one variable, and that variable you can assign with the help of square bracket any property. Okay, so wherever you are seeing square bracket, it means it is a property binding. And then you have event binding. So event binding means from HTML to TS file. Let's say you have one button, login button. So after clicking on login button, you need to go somewhere or do your function. So with the help of this event binding, you can do that. So here what we'll have, so you need to give your event. Okay, and again you need to give function name in that event, whatever event. Let's say it is a click event, so whenever you click, that time it needs to call that function, or it can be a different things. So what are these event bindings, we can see what are those events, we can see in the next slides. But remember this event binding. Okay, and then next we have two-way data binding. So how we can do this two-way data binding? By using square bracket and this open bracket. So wherever you will find square bracket and an open bracket, let's say you have that login page, and there you will have username. So whatever you have typed, that needs to be go to TS file, and whatever you have changed any variable value, then also it needs to show on the HTML file. So that is a two-way data binding. Okay, so that we'll do with the help of square bracket and open bracket, and then we can use ng model. Okay, and then variable name. So by using that, you can do this two-way data binding. Okay, so now let's say what all the events you have. Okay, so this is a very important thing you need to understand. So maximum of the developers using this click event. Okay, so we'll go with that. So what is a click? So this one, if you see here, it is in the open brackets. Okay, so whenever you will write this in your HTML file, then it will say like click, means this is a event binding. Okay, so that time it will check this function. Okay, handle click. So what compiler will check, it will show like this is a click event. So whenever you click on the mouse, whenever you will click on the button, so what will happen, this handle click in the TypeScript, it will call. Okay, so this is the way how you can use. So maximum time we are using click function only. Okay, so remember. So now if you click on login, so in the HTML page you have button like login, and whenever you will click on that, you need to create one function, and in that you need to route to that dashboard. Okay, so like this way you need to implement. Now next we'll check what is next event. So this is input. Okay, so whenever you so this is like in the previous days this input we are using, but now we are not using this thing. So it is also one event. So let's say if you want anything input, that time you can click call that function this. So here if you see, it will, so all the event binding will be done with the help of this open bracket. Okay, this, so with the help of this bracket only. And so this is input. Then next we'll have this change. So change also you can do, and you is equals to, you can write the function name. Okay, so what is the difference between this click and change? So change is used only in the drop downs, where, so if you click on that drop down, right, drop downs will have. Okay, so when we click, we will get one options, right, multiple options. So if you click on that, if you write the click there, so after clicking on every time it will call that function, so that you need no need, right? Only whenever you will select any option from that, then only it needs to call that function. That's why this change will work on change or change. Okay, so I think on change is there event. So let's go with the next. So whenever you will have one form, that time the submit will work for you. So submit will tell the compiler like it is, whenever form will submit, that time you can hit that function. Okay, same way you can write submit equals to and then function name. Okay, let's go to the keyboard. So if you want some function like whenever you press the key, whenever key up or key down, so those you can write with the help of this key down, key up and key press. Then we'll have mouse also. So mouse over, mouse out, mouse enter, mouse leave. So so if you want something like if you mouse over, then that one function needs to call, then you can implement these events. Then based on the focus also you can implement, if it is a, if you focus on that, or if it is a blur, then what function you, if you need any function, that time also you can use this. So these are the events. But basic only click is generally used. Okay, whenever in buttons or on the way, and other things used in the specific condition or custom things, like if you need some custom functionality, that time you can use like this. Okay, and next we'll go with the debugging, how you can do debugging. Let's say you have something and you need to check what is the value of variable. After this, what is the value of this variable, other variable. So those things you can do, how you can do. So yeah, we'll check. So first thing is console. Okay, so if you need something, you can write in that function console.log, and whatever variable you need to check. And where you can see this in the inspect. Okay, in the inspect you will have one console. So there you can see these things, so automatically it will print on that console in the inspect. So if any function is called, so you can check that function by using console.log, and that then you can check that in the console. One second. So next thing is alert. Okay, so if you need any UI, if you need something, so when you write this alert and then your message or variable name, then what will it do? It will pop up. Okay, once that function is called, then it will pop up, and that value you can see on the HTML. in the application when you start the application. Okay, so this is one way. And third thing is by using debugging. Let's say you have function called as login. So you can go in the source file and you can search that file name. Okay, and you can just click on whatever line you need, and there you can debug that. So once you click on that function, then function will call, and then you can see that variables, and you can check those values. What is the value, what operation you are doing in the function. So function you can debug actually. So this is how you can do this debugging. So yeah, any question on these topics what I have covered, just let me know. We'll discuss it.